every 4 years we have an election in this country, and it's and every 2 years we have elections for the Senate and the Congress, and but when it comes to everybody knows what that is. When somebody runs for president, if they become president, they get to enact their party's policies onto the world onto the country because they voted for that. The majority of people voted for that vision. All here for the last bunch of days now, I hear these Democrats whining about not having a seat at the table when it comes to Doge and all that. Well, they had the table. They had the table for 4 years. They cheated on the last election with stifling free speech and all that through Twitter, X, which is now X, and other platforms. The 51 intel agents against Donald Trump, against Hunter Biden, saying that his laptop was Russian disinformation when it was not Russian disinformation. It was actually his laptop. I mean, the point I'm trying to make is they got voted out of power this time. It was this like Donald Trump said, this election was too big to rig. So since it wasn't rigged, the American people have spoken. The Democrats can either be on board with what the people of the United States voted for, or they can just sit there and just shut up. Instead of but these protests are doing out in the streets, this singing, this resistance they're doing, that's insurrection. That is what true insurrection is, people. Besides people just showing up with weapons, it's people that are actively trying to stifle a duly elected president and government of this country. The majority of the people voted for Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. They're Republicans. So that means, just like Obama said back in the day, elections have consequences. We switch governments all the time from Republican to Democrat, and you don't have to vote in line if you don't. You can protest with your vote. But all these active protests they're doing, all this activism that's going on, and it's all being led by the Democrats. I mean, in dissent of every little thing Donald Trump's tried to do that he was elected on, everything he's tried to do, they're fighting in court. Everything. Isn't that insurrection? Is that not the form of? Is that not the definition of insurrection? They're trying to stifle the policies that Donald Trump ran on, and he is a duly elected president, won the popular vote, the Electoral College, won all swing states. That is a mandate. That was the country in a majority saying, we want to change directions. We want to change 100% the direction we were going in. But ever since Donald Trump got into office, the Democratic Party is whining, crying, doing little protests, their little sing-alongs, their little stunt they had when Donald Trump addressed Congress and the Senate. When they addressed them together. I mean, all that they couldn't stand for nothing. They couldn't stand for children with cancer. They couldn't stand for bringing prisoners home. They couldn't stand on any wars. They couldn't stand by backing our Israeli allies. They can't stand by nothing. So that is the definition of insurrection. They're fighting literally. There's not one thing Donald Trump has done since he got into office that they agree with. That they're not protesting in the streets, in the campuses of the colleges, with all their weird stuff. That this is insurrection. You're seeing it going on right now. This is insurrection, especially when you got so many congressmen and senators going on TV and acting like they're running this country. The audacity of Donald Trump to do what he's doing. That's what he ran on. That's what he got voted into. That's how he won the election. That's how he became the president. By the majority of this country saying, we don't like the last 4 years of the Democrats that much, so we want to try something in a different direction. But the Democrats are fighting it. They're fighting the will of the people. You don't have to have them. You don't have to. Once you lose the majority when it comes to fair and real elections, then you lost. It doesn't matter if it's by 2 points or fucking 30 points. You lost the election because the majority of the people voted to go in a different direction. What part of what they're doing right now is insurrection? I don't get it. It's all insurrection. They've been doing insurrection for years now, ever since Donald Trump first got elected, with the Russian hoax. Scott in a shot. It's early in the morning, but like my wife's sleeping. Ooh, check it out. Everything they do. Now, when you can prove it in court. Not one thing Donald Trump has done since he got into office that he ran on is not being fought in courts by the Democrats. Not one thing. I mean, literally every single thing they went to the courts called an emergency. They wanted an emergency injunction. on literally everything he's doing. Is that not insurrection, people? The people voted for a different direction, and the people that they voted out of office because they didn't like that direction, they're fighting it all the way, saying that they know better than you what has to happen. They're saying that you're not smart enough to have voted Donald Trump in, knowing what you're being competent because you're crazy. The majority of the people voted for Donald Trump this time, regardless. You don't have to like it. The majority fucking of this country spoke. They've spoken. We have spoken. We won everything this time because everybody got tired of what they were seeing, and the Democrats are fighting it. They're sitting there fighting a duly elected president and his agenda, his form of government, the Republican, conservative values, and they're fucking suing us for our conservative values because they're literally fighting every single thing Donald Trump is trying to do. They have sued back. It's all on paper. You can't find any good coverage of Donald Trump from the Democrats on any one thing that he did is right. So they're actually saying that the election doesn't count, that the majority doesn't fucking the majority of the country didn't speak. That's what the Democrats are saying because they don't know and they're too stupid to know how to vote. That's how they're saying it, and it doesn't even matter. That's how the vote went down. It was a fair election. That's how the cookie crumbles. You know what I'm saying? That's where the cards fell, and you Democrats have lost. Now you need to go home and fucking hide in your little safe space or whatever, and just deal with it. You can vote on policies that Donald Trump wants to do and all that, but stop with the suing. Stop with the fucking the dissent, which is called insurrection, because it's everything. It's not just here and there. It's everything. That means you're not letting a duly elected president enact the system of government that the people of this country envisioned and they voted for. Now we're just waiting for Donald Trump to deliver, but you don't want it delivered. You don't want to submit that you lost the election. That's what's going on with the Democrats. They don't want to say they lost the election. They lost the election. Period. They can't cop up to it. Not truly. Because if you truly admit that you lost the election, that means you truly should understand that the country voted for something else and stop fighting what the rest of the country in the majority voted for. You don't have to like it, but you don't have to stifle it and try to do this insurrection. This is plotted by the Democratic Party. It's insurrection. Just like they tried to fucking get Donald Trump out of office through a fake Russia hoax. They tried to stifle Donald Trump the first time with this illegal activity. How did Hillary Clinton not go to prison? When she tried to undo a duly elected president. That was the Democratic Party and Hillary Clinton. They're all involved on the biggest corruption I've ever seen in my life, which is the Russia hoax. And not one person's gone to jail over it. And they're still fighting. Donald Trump has won, you guys. How many times do you got to win before you guys just submit? And it's not even really about Donald Trump, people. It's really not. They would be doing this no matter what Republican would have got. Any Republican that was running for president was better than Joe Biden. Any one of them, Nikki Haley, anybody would have been better than the Democrats. They were gonna, but no matter who would have won, this same dissent would be happening. This same kind of behavior, this treasonous behavior, this insurrection behavior would be going on. Just doesn't matter that it's Donald Trump. They don't fucking believe in what conservatives believe in. I'm buzzing. They're not a conservative, and that's what it is. People they want to they want their weird stuff. I don't even want to get into it, but they got voted out of office, and that's all they need to know. You don't have to. We don't have to be nice about it. Donald Trump can fire and hire whoever he wants. Now he's the president for 4 years. That is how it works, people. People come and go in the government. I wouldn't want a government job because you can be there one day and one day you're not. Just like any other job, you do it. But if you do get a job there, you don't have tenure. You don't have special rights that American citizens don't have. We all have the right to get fired whenever the fuck our boss wants to fire us. That's what it is. So you work hard. And you try not to be the one that you want to be the one that they can't go without. You know what I'm saying? That's why you always work hard. You got to be important to somebody who's paying you your money. You got to show that you have value. That's what's up, people. It's personal responsibility, and the Democratic Party can't. Not one of them has any personal responsibility for. They lost the election. They can't get over it. And them fighting in court everything that Donald Trump's doing, that is called insurrection. They're trying not to let Donald Trump enact his vision that the people of this country voted for. Donald Trump never lied about what he's going to do. You know how blunt Donald Trump is. He said, I'm going to crack down on the border. Trade deals will be reciprocal. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. this is going to happen, and we voted for him, and he won the majority vote. They don't have a choice in how he does it. He already fucking won the vote to do it. They don't have to like how he's doing it. It's all legal, people. They just want to fight just to fight. That means they don't care. They don't care about our vote. And we got to stop worrying. We got to worry about that, people. They're telling us to fuck off. The Democrats are telling the whole Republican Party and everybody who voted for Donald Trump to fuck off. You were too stupid to vote correctly. We're all, not one of us could think for ourselves. That's what the Democrats are saying right now with all this dissent and this crazy behavior, which is I call insurrection. I mean, when they're suing Donald Trump for literally everything that he's done since he became president, that shows you that's insurrection. It doesn't, like Donald Trump said on his speech, there's nothing I can say or do that'll make you stand up for this country. As long as because it's not even because he's Donald Trump. It is, but it's because he's a Republican, and this party doesn't want to. They don't want to come to the middle no more. Remember this, people. If two people jump a party to vote on a bill, and they call it bipartisan. That's not bipartisan. Not in the sense of being in the government in a government under the government microscope. To truly be bipartisan for what I think for what the word really means, bipartisan is. When it comes to when you have 300 senators, 300 congressmen, all of these sizes, when it's all said and done with, if it's not if the opposing party doesn't at least get 30 to 50% of its people, that's what I mean. In order for it to be bipartisan, it has to be at least 30 to 50% of a party jumping the fence and saying, I agree with this. That's when you know that it's a really good bill, people. You know it's a really good bill when you have at least one whole party voting for it, and you got at least 30 to 50 of another party voting for it, then you know it's probably a pretty good bill. But when you only have two people jumping the fence here and there, 5 people, and they call it bipartisan. It's really kind of it's misleading, is what it is, because 5 people out of 300 does not make it bipartisan. That means they got bought out probably. I mean, they didn't stand for their beliefs. I'm just saying, if it was truly a good bill, I would like to think our senators and congressmen would just vote on it and just get it over with it, and when it comes right down to it, I just don't think we have too many real congressmen and senators in there that aren't in there just for the money anymore. It's just, these people that it's like a doctor. It's like some kid who's 18. I'm gonna be a doctor. I'm smart. I can make a lot of money at that. He's calculating his head. He's real smart. How much money he can make over 20 years. 401k. How the smart guys think. But then they think politics. Oh shit. So I can really rob the country. So that's how I look at politics anymore. It's hard to find people that are truly going into politics, truly for the benefit of our country. They always have a little side thing going on that benefits them. That's the shame. It's called corruption, people. It's called corruption. We need to get back to, but the Democrats lost. So anyway, this is Scott in the Shot. I don't want to harp on too much. Remember, America voted for a change, and that change is on the Republican Party's shoulders right now. We voted a Republican in, and the Democrats need to stop with the dissent. They need to stop in court because it is insurrection, people. They're promoting with the way they talk. They're promoting violence. They want to see this country in chaos. That is insurrection. It doesn't have to be 300,000 people at the Capitol to be considered insurrection. It's what they're doing to the frame of mind of people with all this fucking crazy stuff on the TV. They lost the election. They have to let Donald Trump enact his policies. That's what the people voted for. They're not against Donald Trump right now. They want you to think it is. They're against the voter. We voted for change, and the Democrats don't want us to get the change that we won on. We won on change. If they don't let us get it, isn't that fucking breach of contract? Isn't that insurrection? If Donald Trump's not able to enact what I voted for because they're going to sue in court and hold it up for years after years, what's really going on? When is the Supreme Court going to get involved and realize that this isn't a Republican thing, a Democrat? This is a corruption thing. These Democrats need to be held accountable for the corruption that they're putting on this country right now. And that's all I got to say about it. We need to put them in jail, get them out of office. It's all facade, people. These Democrats are all just a bunch of dumbasses. I wish they would smarten up. I wish this country would smarten up. We get together and really make a difference in the world for a long term. But no, we can't get together. You know why? Because you always got a faction on one side or the other that's just being so stupid they just can't see the light of day. They got shoved up somebody's ass and they don't see the light no more. I'm just kidding. All right, this got in the shot. You guys have a good day, man.